Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We'll continue with the first chapter, Introduction to BPR Concepts and Principles.
At the end of this chapter, you should be able to define what is BPR, the business process reengineering, what are the keywords in the definition itself, and then you will need to know the 9 dimensions of business reengineering, 7 warning signs of when reengineering is the answer. And then we'll look at the creating the business case by looking at the necessity for change and the alternative to change. And then the last subtopic for this first chapter is the 5 critical success factors for business reengineering projects. After knowing what BPR is, and next we need to know what are the 9 dimensions of business reengineering. There are 9 dimensions to this business reengineering that are divided into 3 layers. The first layer is physical technical layer, second is infrastructure layer, and the third is value layer. So once we have decided to change, we have designed, implement, once we have made these radical changes, we must install the continuous process improvement practices in the business operation itself. Why? In order to minimize the chances of failure, minimize the problems or challenges that we might face, to prevent future deterioration and to ensure preventive maintenance. So these 3 layers, among these 3 layers, the most concrete layer, the easiest to change layer is physical or technical layer. And the most difficult to change layer, less concrete layer, is value layer. Later on, we'll take a look why physical or technical layer is the easiest to change layer, why value layer is the more difficult to change layer. So in these 3 layers, there are 9 dimensions, 3 dimensions each for each layer. For physical or technical layer, we have process structure, technology structure, and organization structure. For infrastructure layer, we have reward structure, measurement systems, and management methods. And for value layer, we have also 3 dimensions: organizational structure, organizational culture, political power, and individual belief systems. Let us discuss on the 3 layers of business reengineering that consists of 9 dimensions. The physical technical layer, infrastructure layer, and value layer. But before that, what is the importance of understanding these layers? Why do we as managers, owners of the business, need to understand each of these layers and their dimensions? It can formulate a successful project strategy. Because of what? You need to understand each of it, each of the dimensions, to get the clear picture of what we need to do for our business improvement or the radical change. Let us discuss on the 3 layers of business reengineering that consists of 9 dimensions. The physical technical layer, infrastructure layer, and value layer. But before that, what is the importance of understanding these layers? Why do we as managers, owners of the business, need to understand each of these layers and their dimensions? It can formulate a successful project strategy. Because of what? You need to understand each of it, each of the dimensions, to get the clear picture of what we need to do for our business improvement or the radical change. Alright, so first thing first, we take a look at the first dimension of the first layer, which is process structure. But before that, let's take a look at what is this physical or technical layer. Alright, so this layer actually consists of 3 dimensions, which are process structure, technology structure, and organization structure. So these dimensions will provide the organization's operational foundation. Right? This process structure, processes involved in the what we do in the organization, starting from the output to input to the output. So in the middle is the process itself. So process structure consists of business processes, their outcomes, their input, the policies, procedures, the practices that support the processes. So it defines what, when, and how work is performed. All right. So what is the purpose of this process structure? Okay, it wants to seek for the efficiency, the effectiveness in an organizational process structure. It wants to produce a quality outcome in a timely manner. So in order uh, to have that efficiency, effectiveness, we have to keep in mind the importance of carrying out each process with quality. Make it clear what skills, what knowledge that are necessary to perform each process, and realize that the process has an influence on others and can interfere with the results. Okay, so usually this process structure triggered by internal events, okay, timing cycles or external stimuli. All right. Okay. By right, if let's say these processes are designed by the company, properly designed, okay, re-engineering wouldn't be necessary. You just need to maintain to meet the evolving business needs, the customer needs. All right. However, most of the process structure are informal and spontaneous processes. Okay. If they are not changed, all right, you will not meet the business needs. Okay, so we need to change the process structure from time to time so that we can fulfill the customer needs, the business needs. All right, we need to change it from time to time if it is not properly designed, to avoid from the negative impact to the organization. For example, there will be work duplication. Okay, the whole processes are unorganized, undocumented, inconsistently applied, and personality dependent. So we need to change the processes radically, yes, so that we can fulfill the business needs. All right, and then that comes the re-engineering, the redesign, restructuring of business process. Okay, that's about the process structure. This process structure, processes involved in the what we do in the organization, starting from the output to input to the output. So in the middle is the process itself. So process structure consists of business processes, their outcomes, their input, the policies, procedures, the practices that support the processes. So it defines what, when, and how work is performed. All right. So what is the purpose of this process structure? Okay, it wants to seek for the efficiency, the effectiveness in an organizational process structure. It wants to produce a quality outcome in a timely manner. So in order uh, to have that efficiency, effectiveness, we have to keep in mind the importance of carrying out each process with quality. Make it clear what skills, what knowledge that are necessary to perform each process, and realize that the process has an influence on others and can interfere with the results. Okay, so usually this process structure triggered by internal events, okay, timing cycles or external stimuli. By right, if let's say these processes are designed by the company, properly designed, okay, re-engineering wouldn't be necessary. You just need to maintain to meet the evolving business needs, the customer needs. All right. However, most of the process structure are informal and spontaneous processes. Okay. If they are not changed, all right, you will not meet the business needs. Okay. So we need to change the process structure from time to time, so that we can fulfill the customer needs, the business needs. All right. We need to change it from time to time if it is not properly designed, to avoid from the negative impact to the organization. For example, there will be work duplication. Okay, the whole processes are unorganized, undocumented, inconsistently applied, and personality dependent. So we need to change the processes radically, yes, so that we can fulfill the business needs. All right. And then that comes the re-engineering, the redesign, restructuring of business process. Okay, that's about the process structure. The second dimension of physical or technical layer is technology structure. So what is this technology structure? It consists of automated communication, networking and computer systems, data, applications, and any other related technologies that will support the process structure. So it is interrelated with each other. All right. Because technology plays such an important part in our daily lives, in our business, in the government policy. So we need to understand them better. We need to understand and adapt to this technology, so that we will deliver the task given much faster and cheaper. Okay, so we can eliminate the time consuming and error producing data entry. I can give you an example of what we what is the use of technology in the organization. Okay, so we have the database, shared databases that make the information available at many places, so you can access the database from anywhere, from your home, from the office, from your department, okay, from overseas. For example, if you need to work uh, outside the country, all right. And then we have the decision support tools that allow the decision making to be parts of everybody's jobs, for example, so you can make decision using this technology. Okay, and then we have the expert system that will allow the generalists to perform specialist tasks. All right, so this expert system, the expertise, they will develop a system in which, okay, we generalists can perform the task, the specialist task, the task that can be done by the expert previously. So we as generalists also can do those tasks. All right. Here they give you an example of the technology that we use nowadays, the optical scanning devices, the barcodes. Previously we are using the barcodes, the manual barcodes, and now we have the QR code. All right, we can just scan and then pay at the counter. For example, at Tesco, we can just scan using the QR code, and then to put it into cart. All right, and then we pay for the items that we want to purchase at the counter. All right, and then we have smart cards. All right, we have biometric, we have kiosk ordering machine at McDonald's. Okay, we have fingerprints scanner. Okay, and any other new technologies that will eliminate time consuming. Okay, and it will reduce the error producing data entry. Okay, so most of the time will depend on technology to solve the business problems, right? Most of the time we'll use technology help us a lot in our daily life. All right, but but if let's say uh, overlaying technology on ineffective business processes, okay, it will leads to problem. All right, okay, people will blame the technology, and you will not use the technology effectively. All right, if let's say we need to choose which kind of technology that suits our business needs. Right, we can't simply install, implement the technology in the organization for the sake of we want to follow any other competitors changes in terms of technology. All right, if let's say we need the wireless data communication, so we'll install, but if we don't need it, but in today's world we need that wireless data communication. Either it's the LAN, the MAN, or the WAN. All right, LAN MAN WAN, local area network. We need the local area network only in the organization, or we need the metropolitan area network, or it is the wide area network. But if it is a large company, we need the wide area network. So we will install the technology structure based on our business needs and the customer needs as well. All right, so that is about the technology structure that will help in the successful of the project strategy of the business re-engineering. The third dimension of physical or technical layer is organizational structure. I know you still remember what is organizational structure. The forms of organizational structure that we have learned in semester 2, fundamentals of business. So if you compare organizational structure with process structure defines what, when, and how. What, when, and how the work is performed. But here it's the who questions. All right, who performs, who manages, and who are accountable for each business processes. All right, so it includes job structure, reporting and work group relationships, accountabilities, job content, skill or knowledge requirements. So that is organizational structure. So if this process and the organizational structure are out of alignment, there will be gaps in accountability. So maybe, all right, if let's say the organization wants to restructure, all right, redesign, reinvent the organization, all right, it may be from the hierarchical to a network organization structure, from stable to flexible organization structure, from operations to the customer organization structure, from individual to team organization structure, from tall organizational structure to flat organizational structure. So that is the organization structure in the organization. So periodically, all businesses, the managers, the business owners, they must re-evaluate the way they do business. This includes assessing the effectiveness of the organizational structure itself. All right. So to meet these challenges of future companies, they maybe need to re-engineer rather than the incremental changes. They need to re-engineer the structure, the processes, the technology in order to improve their operations, in order to improve the customer service, in order to improve the speed of the services, the quality of the service, and so on and so forth. All right, so that is for organizational structure. So we have done on the first layer, physical or technical layer of business re-engineering. The second layer of business re-engineering is infrastructure layer, consists of reward structure, measurement systems and management methods. Okay, so these layers support the physical or technical operational layer. They are related to each other, and for that, if let's say the physical or technical dimension change, the infrastructure layer must also change, because they reinforce the desired operational behavior. They needs each other. Once the physical technical uh, layer change, once the processes change, once the technology change, once the organizational structure change, all right, so this infrastructure layer also change. The reward structure will change, the measurement systems also change, as well as the management methods. The second layer of business reengineering is infrastructure layer, consists of reward structure, measurement systems and management methods. Okay, so these layers support the physical or technical operational layer. They are related to each other, and for that, if let's say the physical or technical dimension change, the infrastructure layer must also change, because they reinforce the desired operational behavior. They needs each other. Once the physical technical layer change, once the processes change, once the technology change, once the organizational structure change, all right, so this infrastructure layer also change. The reward structure will change, the measurement systems also change, as well as the management methods. So let us take a look at the first dimension of infrastructure layer, which is reward structure. So what is reward structure? This reward structure will regulate the behavior of the employees. It may be formal, it may be informal, financial or recognition based, extrinsic or intrinsic. Extrinsic such as salary or wages, the fringe benefits, what else? Promotions, recognition, praise, while intrinsic is actually something to do with self-administered feelings, feelings of task, accomplishment, you feel happy, you feel satisfied, the autonomy, the personal growth, the development that come from the job itself. Okay, so this reward structure often disconnected of the desired behaviors and behaviors that are actually rewarded, changing reward structures, policies and practices. Let me give you an example. What does it mean by disconnection of the desired behaviors and behaviors that are actually rewarded? Actually, we want to reward is related to who that we want to give the reward based on their performance, based on their job effort, right? But then sometimes people will not be rewarded for their performance or job effort. Maybe other people will get the reward, will be given the reward, will be awarded the rewards. All right, so let me give you an example of one case that I've read earlier, which is on the bus driver case. He was suspended for 10 days without pay for breaking a company rules. What he company rules, again using the CB radio on his bus. What he did is, he he um he he used the radio to alert the police, because the bus was being hijacked by an armed man. All right, but then even though he is doing the right thing, the bus driver was suspended for breaking the company rules. What is the rule just now? The rule of using the CB radio on his bus. Even though he is doing the right thing, right? Because he want to save the life of 32 passengers on board, but he was suspended for breaking the company rules other than rewarded. Okay, by right he should be rewarded for his brave actions of saving the life of 32 passengers, but then he was suspended just because of he broke the company rules. Okay, another example that I can give you is a case. Everyone knows who is Robin Hood. All right, what he did is he helped the poorer people by uh, by taking others people um, money, for example, others people things. Okay, this is where the apa what people say, niat tidak menghalalkan cara. So he is not being rewarded for what he did because of what he did something wrong, even though it is a good thing that he wants to do for to the poorer. All right. Or another case of, let's say, in the organization you are not being rewarded for your excellent performance, rather other people's are given the awards, the rewards for let's say they have the power, they have the reference power, they have the personal power, they have the whatever power that he has or she has in the organization, he or she is being rewarded for that. But then those who are performing very well in the organization, who did an excellent job, all right, they are not being rewarded because of this reward system. That's why the organization then need to restructure the reward structure that they have in the organization. All right, they need uh, to reward to structure this reward system so that it will motivate the people to think, to take action, to excel, and to meet the performance goals of the organization. The second dimension of infrastructure layer is measurement systems. Here it is the feedback processes that provide information on process performance. So it will give feedback on whatever changes that you have made earlier on, let's say, the physical or technical layers, the process structure, the organizational structure, the technology structure or reward structure. All right. So at these measurement systems, it will measure whether it is a success or a failure of the changes that we have made earlier. So any comments, any feedback on the previous on the processes, on the business process that we have changed, that we have improved, okay, will be made available to the managers, to the performers, to the owners of the organization, to the board of directors. Okay, so there will be information given to the managers. The feedback will be available to the managers, to the owners. All right, so that the managers, the owners, the performers will know what to do next. Okay, what should be the improvement for that particular business process. All right, but then there shouldn't be any too much information or incomplete information, because this too many information, too much information or incomplete information will generate faulty decisions to the decision maker in these measurement systems. All right, so they will measure the current business process or any business process that has been improved previously, and a design business process, or it is an um, a business process um, that is spontaneous, okay, to be improved. All right. The third dimension of infrastructure layer is management methods. Okay, so management methods consist of the practices and techniques used to supervise, to develop, and to support the people who perform the business processes. Okay, so you will help, the management will help the employees, okay, in order to do the day-to-day activities, day-to-day tasks, to improve their day-to-day performance. So they will be given what to do, how to do it, when to do it, and they will be given the advice, the consultation, on the task given to them. It is some sort of the management support to the people in the organization to perform the business processes in order for them to gain the good performance of the task that they need to accomplish. All right. So okay, they will be treated fairly. For example, how you will need to know how they are treated. Either they are being treated fairly, do they participate in business decision making, are they the um, uh, initiator of the project, or they are just participate in the process itself, but they do not make decision. All right. Okay. Does the management support their personal growth and development, any career development for that particular employees? All right. So these aspects of management strongly affect the process performance that we did earlier, the process performance um, in the first layer of the business reengineering, which is physical or technical layer. All right. However, okay, however, these management methods is the most neglected because it is outside of the project scope. All right. But unless the managers and supervisors understand and how to support the new environment, the benefits will quickly erode from that particular management methods. The last layer of business reengineering is value layer. Here it has three dimensions, which are organizational culture, political power, and individual belief system. Okay, so this value layer, as I mentioned earlier, it's the most difficult to change layer, and it is less concrete. Why it is the most difficult to change layer? Because it is something to do with the culture of the organization. It is something to do with power. It is something to do with the individual belief system. If we look at the organizational culture, what is organizational culture? It is something to do with the um, unspoken rules, okay, with the collective rules, with the beliefs of the organization, with the norm, with the custom, with the mores, with the values that has been embedded in that particular organization. Okay, it's the languages, the symbols, the myths, the rituals that the organization has been practices for a very long time. Okay, why it is very difficult? Because as the older the culture of the organization, the more embedded the beliefs and values to the people in the organization, and the more difficult to change the organization, the more difficult change becomes. All right. So how to change the organization's culture? As we change the practical technical part, the layer, the physical technical layer, the infrastructure layer, the process structure, the technology structure, the reward structure, the organization structure. Okay, we need to change the organization's culture as well. Okay, to make it a success, to make the business reengineering a success. Okay, so usually the suggestions is around the leadership, all right, the communication, the human systems, all right. Maybe we can give them incentives of that changes, of the culture, hiring or firing, promotion, we give them training, or uh, describe the job, the job description of the employees. Okay, so okay, I often observe that and experience employees carrying out the current business process, the as is process, as I'm also an employee. Okay, so with all the associated policies, the procedures, the standards, the guidelines. Okay, so these will let demoralized employees and frustrated, of the internal and external customers, because we get used to this as is business process. We are in our comfort zone, so we don't want to change. That is the culture that we need to change. The most difficult thing to change is the culture in the organization. All right. But then through the leadership styles, through the communication, the effective communication in the organization, through the improved human system, the incentive, the promotion, the training, and whatsoever that we have in the organization, okay, we can reinforce this as is culture, the new culture. All right, so that um, we can implement this to be culture, to be together with whatever changes in the business processes that we want to do previously. So it should be together. Okay, if we want to change the structure, okay, the process structure, the physical technical layers just now, if you want to change the infrastructure, so the culture should be changed as well, this value layer. All right, so this is about the organizational culture, about the people in the organization, the norms, the practices, the customs in the organization. The second dimension of value layer is political power. So what is power? When power is being used in the organization, how it will be used in the organizational change, especially in this radical change, business reengineering. Okay, so in any organizational change, especially in this business reengineering, power is used by the board of directors, by the CEOs, the top managers, the change managers, work councils, the consultants, the employees in the organization. The employees also have their power through the informal way, all right, and other interest group. Okay, so the goal of this group is to manage and influence the change process, by using power and influence tactics. So both formal and informal leaders use power to reinforce culture. Okay, in this case, we want to do the radical change. We have this physical and technical layer in which we want to change the process, the process structure, the organizational structure, the technology structure, the reward structure. Okay, we want to change the organizational culture. All right. So this power can be used to reinforce the culture, to reinforce the changes in the organization. Okay, so we might have the political power, the expert power, the formal power. We might have the legitimate power. We have the referent power. Okay, we have the reward power, coercive power. What else? Information power, connection power. Okay, so all these powers, all right, especially for the political power. Okay, political power can originate from formal authority or personal power. Okay, for the formal authority, this political power is through the position that we hold in the organization. But if it is the personal power, For this political power, it might be through your expertise, through the knowledge that you have, to the connections that you have in the organization or outside the organization. So this political power might have an impact on the changes in business process or on the business re-engineering. Why? If let's say you have that power and you don't want to change, it might be very difficult for the organization to move, to change. All right. If you have that referent power, if you have that personal power, okay, because of your expertise, because of your knowledge, because of your connections, okay, maybe your input, your thoughts towards that particular changes will they will take it into account, because of your expertise, because of your knowledge, because of the connections that you have in the organization. So it might be difficult for the change to happen, right? Because of this political power. The last dimensions of business reengineering is individual belief systems, and this value layer, the most difficult to change layer. Okay, so what is this individual belief system? It is the individual itself who think what he needs to do, how he can do that task, okay, when will he do that particular task. Okay, that is their belief. All right. It's just like the culture, but the culture is to the organization as the overall organization, but this individual belief systems is within that individual, that particular individual employees. Okay, so individual belief systems is the attitudes and mental models that individual apply to themselves, those they work with, and the work itself. Okay, so this belief system, individual belief system, shape their attitudes toward others and their behavior on the job. If they think they are negative thinkers, so it will be negative all the way. If they think that they do not trust the management, they do not trust the organization, they will just do whatever that he do just like before. He or she don't want to change. All right. This belief system, the cultural characteristics like impatience, skepticism, openness, control, rigidity, or flexibility. It is good if in the organization we have this kind of individual who has the belief system of a positive, they have the positive attitude. They are very flexible to changes, right? Rather than but most in the company itself, when they are in their comfort zone, they don't want to change. They believe that whatever they are doing currently is the best, so they don't want to change. If they change, something bad might happen to them, or they can't perform, for example. Okay, so when these things happen, the executives, the leaders in the organization, they should demonstrate, they must demonstrate the leadership. Okay, so they need to enforce something, and they need to do something in order for this individual to take part in the changes. Worst come to worst, they maybe need to punish the employees, punishment in terms of, let's say, monetary or non-monetary punishment, for example. All right, or punishment in terms of they give they put new executive in place, for example. Okay, so you are being fired of not taking part in the changes made in the organization. Okay, so that's conclude the 3 layers of business re-engineering. We have we have physical or technical layers, we have infrastructure layer, we have the value layer, okay, with 9 dimensions. All right.